put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning and welcome to the morning show on Tobago Updates Television. It is Tuesday, 23rd July 2024, and we're coming to you live from the Port Mall in Scarborough, Tobago. I am Adana Kumbi, and this is the day that the Lord has made, so we will all rejoice and be glad in it. Yes, it's an awesome day to be in the land of the living, and we must remember to give God thanks for life, for He's the one who has given life unto us. We are so happy that you can join us this morning as we bring information to you and have discussions with you this morning as it relates to things happening in and around the Tobago. As we are aware that the things that happen here affect and impact all of our lives, and so we all want to be a part of the conversation. So we say thank you, of course, for choosing us and for allowing us to be a part of your morning routine. Whether you're getting ready for work, whether you're spending time in the garden, or just having a lazy morning, we thank you so much for including us in your morning routine. Before we get into all the discussions this morning, we head on over to the news in 90 seconds.
The news is brought to you by Standards. At Standard, nobody beats us on price. Believe it.
Thank you, Adana. Here is your news in 90 seconds for Tuesday, July 23, 2024. Reports indicate a shooting occurred in Blackrock last night, leaving one man injured and taken to the Scarborough General Hospital. Although details are still unclear, police are continuing their investigations. More information will be provided as it becomes available. During yesterday's launch of Scout TT Camp in Roxborough, Chief Secretary Farley Augustine emphasized the centrality of intelligence in Tobago's crime-fighting strategy and called for increased intelligence-gathering initiatives to prevent criminal activities. Augustine acknowledged that these strategies, including frequent traffic stops, might inconvenience law-abiding citizens but are essential for regaining control. He stressed the importance of timely intelligence gathering to prevent crime. In response to recent shooting, Augustine assured that the TTPS is being equipped with sufficient patrol vehicles. He called for a radical, unprecedented response to the crime situation. And finally, Deputy Commissioner of Police Junior Benjamin announced positive results after the TTPS escalated to high alert with increased patrols and spot checks. Benjamin said intelligence-driven and evidence-based solutions have been shaping successful strategies. He noted during the period July 14th to 21st, 569 exercises were conducted, leading to 263 arrests, the seizure of 15 firearms, and 604 rounds of ammunition. Narcotics were also confiscated. Benjamin defended the aggressive policing tactics, explaining they are targeting criminals and not the public. And that was your news in 90 seconds.
Get your quality furniture and appliances at Standards. Frigidaire gas range $599. Serta base and mattress $1,899. RC 50-inch smart 4K TV as low as $2,599. Yes, at Standard, nobody beats us on price. Believe it.
Thank you there, Biana, for our news in 90 seconds. And of course, coming out of this news, it really, really saddens me and almost angers me to hear that we have to speak about again another crime, gun-related crime, another shooting here on the island of Tobago, and again in Blackrock. Is it that Blackrock is a hot spot? What is happening? We've had so many conversations. We've spoken to the agencies. We've spoken to those who have the authority and the power, and we were reassured that strategies have been put in place, have been implemented. But here again, we are this Tuesday morning reporting another shooting incident. Tell me, I mean, what do we have to do? What do we have to do next? What do we do next? What do we do from here? Where do we go from here?
Adana, it's a matter of I don't even know what to say. I've lost for words this morning. But I believe in terms of, yes, the police are doing their efforts, persons are reporting whether we are seen or not. But in terms of the criminal evidence itself, the persons who are doing these crimes, I am wondering if they're not, thinking Like, really?
They're thinking, but not like you and I. And you know, as you mentioned, that there's something that we have to change, and it's called a cultural change. We have to change the culture, the mindset, and look at the issue rather than the outcome, because sometimes we approach the outcome. There's a shooting, so we deal with the shooting. But there are some things that we have to do. And I know the TTPS came and they spoke about different programs and initiatives that they have, and the collaboration with the external agencies, you know, to deal with the underlying issues. But I mean, Tobago is a small space, and there's only 60,000 of us living here. And if we, every time we report a shooting incident, is cause for concern. So we really have to get aggressive as it relates to fighting with crime.
But do you think that in terms of the judicial system, do you think that they should introduce back hanging? What's your thoughts on that?
I am for it, but there must be some type of conversation that guides the process to this. But for just hangings, but a more aggressive approach in terms of enforcement of the law, apprehending criminals and enforcing the law. Something that will deter criminals from even thinking, if I even touch a gun, something might happen to me. You know, and that is the kind of mindset. I mean, and as much as we don't want this place to become too militant, as we always say, but we still need to implement things that will change the minds and the intentions of criminals.
I think being militant may have that effect of change, you know. It
will have that effect, definitely. But do we want to live in a space that is absolutely militant? We don't. We want to be free, but we also want to be safe. So, you know, it's a catch-22. And so the powers that be, the agencies, they really have to have the conversations, and we really have to see where do we go from here and how soon we can get to where we want to be, because this, for me, enough is enough.
It is.
Thank you so much, Biana, there for the news in 90 seconds and for that conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, again, this morning we're talking about gun-related crime. We're speaking about a shooting that occurred in the Black Rock area. We know just last week, I think it was, there was a shooting there as well, either last week or the week before, where we saw even persons lost their lives there. And so now we're in this position again. We're having this conversation. We've heard from the TTPS. We've heard from the Tobago House of Assembly. We've heard, you know, so many different things, so many strategies being put in place, and we're wondering about the impact and the effect of its rolling out here on the island of Tobago. It's only 60,000 of us. It's a small space, you know, 116 square miles, and we just want to ensure that this space is safe and secure for me, for you, and for all of our generations that are coming up, so that we can enjoy this space. So let us try our best. If you see something, if you know something, say something. Let's help the agencies who are trying to help us. All right, it's that time of the morning where we have to celebrate with those who are celebrating this morning. So we want to say happy birthday to a few people. Let's head on over to our birthday shout out. On screen this morning and celebrating a birthday, it is we celebrating with Trenice Lewis. Trenice Lewis is celebrating a birthday today, and we do want to say happy birthday to you, Trenice. We wish you God's blessings upon your life, and as you enter this new chapter, that you enjoy all the goodness that comes with it. Sherma Andrews is next. Sherma Andrews is also celebrating a birthday today, and we want to wish you a very, very happy birthday, Sherma. We pray God's blessings upon your life. We do hope that you enjoy the love and that you create memorable moments in this new period and this new chapter of your life. And rounding up the birthdays for today is Kyle Summers. Kyle Summers is celebrating a birthday, and Kyle, we at Tobago Updates Television, we celebrate with you today. We give God thanks for your life, and we pray that you do enjoy your birthday. We pray that you do enjoy all the blessings that come with a birthday, and we pray God's blessings for you. And for every other person who is also celebrating a birthday, even if we don't have your photo, if you're celebrating a birthday, anniversary, anything worth celebrating, we celebrate with you. Of course, we remind you to give God thanks. Give God thanks for life. Give God thanks for the opportunities that come your way. And of course, give Him thanks for preserving and protecting you wherever you are. Right, you might be wondering, who are we speaking with this morning in studio? This morning, we start off the conversation by speaking with Dr. Rahana Juman, an ecologist specializing on the wetlands of Trinidad and Tobago. And we're speaking about Sargassum Management Task Force. As you know, you can see this sargassum again in the seas, even this morning, even as early as last week, we started seeing it there. And so we're going to have that conversation this morning. We also speak with Assemblyman Sonny Craig. As you know, we're in the Heritage Festival season, and we're talking about Tobago goat racing that is upcoming. So we're going to have that conversation as well. And we wrap things up by speaking with Shaquille Williams, PRO of Mariah Runnymede Sustainable Development Group, and they're having an evening of prayer and worship for Tobago, and definitely needed in the times that we are in now and the things we are experiencing. So we're going to have those conversations this morning, and we do hope that you can stay with us as we go through this morning's program. Shout outs to all of you who are viewing us on our Facebook live stream, on our YouTube channel, or on Amplia 102. A special good morning to all of you. We see you, we appreciate you, and we thank you so much for helping us to be the #1 morning show here in Trinidad and Tobago. Before we begin conversations in studio, we have to go for a short break. And of course, before we go for a break, we invite you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
On Sunday, 28th July, Fandango, in collaboration with KCNN Rentals, presents Christmas in July at Signal Hill Senior Comprehensive Family Extravaganza and Expo from 11 a.m. Sorrel, ginger beer, hops and ham, crab and dumplings, pop-up market, health fair, and more. Show starts 2 p.m. Free gifts and toys for the kids. Fun and games, live entertainment. Tickets at Party Paradise, Scarborough, Sherwood Foods, Canby, Triple L Minimart, Spring Garden, Fairways Restaurant and Lounge, Lowlands, Economy Veggie Mart, Penny Servers Compound, Zoya Vessels, Bill Brown Compound, CPA Computers, Port Mall, only $100 at the door. You pay more. For info, 399-4030 or 682-2888. Christmas in July. Bring the whole family and have a grand time.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning.
Welcome back to the morning show on Tobago Updates Television. We begin conversations this morning. We speak with Dr. Rahana Juman, an ecologist who specializes in wetlands of Trinidad and Tobago. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. And thank you for having me on.
Indeed,
are you hearing me?
For you to be here with us this morning. And we're speaking about the sargassum management task force. Of course, we know that, there's a period where we see a lot of sargassum in our seas and in Trinidad and Tobago. First and foremost, I must ask, is there a season that we can expect to see this type of activity in our waters?
Well, initially, first of all, let me just go back. We used to always have sargassum coming up, but not at the quantities that we're seeing. Since 2011, more and more sargassum has been coming up on our beaches, and it has become sort of like the new normal, right? And while most of the times we record them between March to August, with it happening all year round. So there's no specific season. There's a time when we expect to see more of it, but we're noticing now that we're seeing it almost every time of the year, almost every month.
And, of course, when it comes in such large quantities in some areas, and of course it gives off that odor, that pungent odor, that we have to kind of try to cope with until it is removed and, disposed of someplace else. And now we're talking about a task force, a management task force in terms of course, removing the sargassum from the waters and taking them to another place where they can be disposed. What are the procedures in terms of removing, because there have been so many discussions in the space, is the right way, the correct way, what type of equipment we should have and we should use to remove the sargassum from the waters and dispose of them. What are the procedures, what are the methods that you have to employ to safely remove this sargassum from the waters?
So So this has been happening for many years now, and I think you would remember in 2015 when everyone woke up and the whole of Speyside was covered with sargassum. And it's not only Trinidad, it's throughout the Caribbean. And folks have been trying different ways of collecting the sargassum. And in our ignorance, we would have used heavy equipment and barcodes and so forth. And we would have removed the sand. And when we remove the sand from the beach, we also, contribute to coastal erosion. So there are methods where, using rakes and so forth, that you try to minimize the amount of sand that you actually remove from the beach at the same time. Also, too, we have to be cognizant that some of our beaches are turtle nesting sites. And when you use heavy equipment, you compress the sand and you could impact on the turtle nests. So all those things have to be taken into consideration. Now, we have in the last about 3 years ago, the Japanese government funded a project called National Sargassum Management Capacity in the Caribbean, and it is to be implemented in Barbados, St. Kitts, Nevis, and Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Trinidad and Tobago. And it's a $12 million US project, and Trinidad and Tobago is allocated around $1.9 million. And that is basically to buy equipment to assist us in removing the sargassum both onshore and offshore. And so we're about to receive that equipment. We have selected pilot sites both in Trinidad and Tobago to use this equipment to see how well they work, with the intention that once they work well, then we would be able to replicate throughout the islands based on the sea conditions. We have to look at the sea conditions as well, and what would be suitable for one area may not be suitable for another area. So all those things have to be taken into consideration.
I was also just about to ask that in terms of how do you assess the efficiency of the equipment, and how do you implement it in terms of, as you mentioned, the sea conditions as well. In terms of the size of the task force that is embarking on this project, how are the resources being deployed for the different areas? Because, of course, as you mentioned, some of the areas are impacted greater than some others. You might have a larger quantity in some areas. How are you going to manage in terms of how do you disperse the resources that you have to ensure that you remove the sargassum effectively and in quick time?
So in Tobago, the Tobago House of Assembly has responsibility for the cleaning up of the beaches. In Trinidad, we have the regional cooperation. Under this Japanese project, we were ensuring that we have equipment purchased for both Trinidad and Tobago, and that would be given to the TIMA as well Tobago House of Assembly, and through the Tobago Emergency Management Agency. And the intent is that they will make a decision as to based on their priorities, where to deploy the equipment. For the pilot, we have selected Speyside to test the equipment, things like booms and barriers, or conveyors, as well as onshore equipment, rakes, tractors, and so forth. It will be lodged with an agency that would have responsibility for ensuring that it is given to whoever needs it, and there must be priority attached to that. In Trinidad, the same thing. It would be we're looking at some sort of local government agency that would have responsibility for allocated for allowing the equipment to be utilized by different areas or different regional corporation based on a needs basis. The intention is that also if we have tested this equipment, right, and it works and it's actually effective, the possibility of purchasing more for the different regional corporations and local, NGOs and so forth. So prior to the task force is a multidisciplinary, multi-sectoral task force made up of folks from not only the Tobago House of Assembly, but also from the Fisheries Division, Ministry of Local Government, Coastal Protection Unit, the ODPM, Office of Disaster and Preparedness Management, as well as NGOs. So we have the Nature Seekers and we have COPE as well on the task force. So, and we're working with a wider sector of stakeholders. So it's basically the task force would be coordinating activities amongst the different agencies, including not only government agencies, but private sector, NGO, community-based organization as well, to educate, to build capacity, as well as provide equipment for the cleanup and disposal, and also looking at how we can actually turn the sargassum into something useful that could be beneficial.
Dr. Juman, you mentioned earlier that if the equipment, well, you keep saying if the equipment works, the equipment that you are purchasing or receiving for this particular cleanup, this assignment, this project, is there any reference in terms of it being used in another area, whether it's another part of the world or wherever? Additionally, is there going to be any type of training for the technicians who would be using the equipment here in Trinidad and Tobago? Because you don't want to make an investment in something that might or might not work. You want to have that measure of assurance that it will work or it will have some type of impact to assist in the project that you're doing.
Definitely. So once we receive the equipment will folks that would be utilizing the equipment, the regional corporations, the Tobago House of Assembly, they would be trained not only to use the equipment but also in maintenance, because we have a tendency of purchasing but we don't maintain. So the equipment will only last us as long as we maintain it properly and take care of it. So yes, training will be provided. The project again is all about capacity building. And building local capacity within these local areas so that we can actually be effective in how we treat with the removal of sargassum.
What are some of the things in terms of your research or experience or even knowledge? Of course, removing the sargassum and, as you said, finding useful benefits for it. Is there any that you can identify in terms of how it can be used to benefit the environment?
So a lot of folks have been doing experiments trying to look at uses for sargassum. We have here our University of the West Indies that's been doing a lot of research on it, looking at creating, plant stimulants, bioelicitors, things to deal with things like tomato fungus. The university as well creating plastics. There are folks that are using it for beauty products. There's now, we only recently heard of the nature seekers getting a grant to actually use it to create biogas, to melt bottles to make jewelry. So there is a number of things that are happening at the same time, a lot of research that's being conducted. A lot of things was being done prior to, and then they realized that when it's out in the ocean and it's an habitat, it's also performing a function in that it's absorbing a lot of pollutants. So they started to realize that it contains a lot of heavy metals and arsenic. So we have to be very cautious how we use it. So whatever use is being put to, especially if it's going to be used for things like fertilizers, for body products or pharmaceuticals, it has to be tested to ensure that the heavy metal concentrations are not toxic or not high.
Of course, you've seen a lot of options there in terms of benefits and different uses for the sargassum, which is welcomed. And of course, the research has to go into it to ensure the methods that are being approached or used are the best methods for, the redeployment or the reuse of the sargassum in that sense. Of course, we want to wish you the very best, and we do hope that the equipment gets here as soon as possible. We do have this situation right now. I can tell you for certain in Tobago, we definitely have that situation that we're dealing with. And so we're hoping that the equipment gets here, that the training takes place, and that the extraction of the sargassum is like almost immediate, effective, and impactful as well. In closing, is there anything you'd like to share with our viewers?
So I'll just say that we're expecting the equipment to arrive next year because the procurement takes a while, and they wanted to purchase for all the islands one time and wanted to make sure that what we purchase would be suitable for our environment. I just want to let folks know that, there's a lot of literature, there's a lot of information, education, right, in terms of the sargassum, what it does, what it brings in, how to treat with it. And again, even in terms of the cleaning, be cognizant of just going there and removing it with heavy equipment and so forth, because at the same time, you don't want to cause further damage to the environment. And you could also reach out to us at the Institute of Marine Affairs. We have a library. We have a lot of information that we're willing to share with folks.
Thank you so much, Dr. Juman. We've been speaking with Dr. Rahana Juman, ecologist who specializes in the wetlands of Trinidad and Tobago as we speak about the removal of sargassum from our waters. There's a task force in place, and of course, we're going to get that going in the soonest possible time. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go for a short break before we continue conversations in studio with our guest this morning. And as we go for a break, of course, we invite you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Go in. You have to stop it. You have to stop it.
Welcome to my kitchen, guys.
You have to stop it again.
That's it. That's the intro. Let's do it one more time, right?
Said I'm falling, falling, I'm falling. As I lay in my bed with my head to the ceiling. Say I'm drowning alone and I'm lost in my feelings. Somebody send me a sign, cause you know that I need it. Carnival, come back to me, cause you know you're my healing. I said this soca is my therapy, my therapy. It take away all of my anxiety, my remedy. I tell you that we all need love. Jump up and show me love, wind up and show me love. Together say we all. See me on my God and love. Sisters speak. See me on my God and love.
Pam Star Promotions and Charns Bookstores are happy to bring the 2024 New Wave Max Championships to Lowlands Mall, 8th to 10th August. Participants must be between ages 9 to 12 years. Lots of prizes to be won. To register, call 471-2604. For the best prices on school books, WhatsApp 471-2604 or 371-4824. 3 lucky students will win their book list for free.
Welcome to the Magdalena Grand Beach and Golf Resort, where we will be hosting the very first annual CM Golf Academy Charity Golf Tournament. Some of the proceeds from this tournament will be going to my childhood school, the Montgomery Government School, and our neighboring school, the Boko Government School, where we will be assisting students in various needs. We'll be having players from all over the globe, friends from Canada, Barbados, and also here in Tobago and from Trinidad, and few friends from America as well. So you can come here in the land of sea, sun, and sun and come and have some fun with us. Yeah, in Plantation.
Tobago, it's goat racing in July. Thursday, 25th July 2024. Come out to the Buku Integrated Facility from 3 p.m. for a time of goat racing. Hosted by the Tobago Goat Owners Association. Only $20 for children, $40 for adults. Refreshments will be on sale. Goat racing in July. Thursday, 25th July 2024, 3 p.m. Come out at the Buku Integrated Facility.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Tobago, it's goat racing in July. Thursday, 25th July 2024. Come out to the Buku Integrated Facility from 3 p.m. for a time of goat racing. Hosted by the Tobago Goat Owners Association. Only $20 for children, $40 for adults. Refreshments will be on sale. Goat racing in July. Thursday, 25th July 2024, 3 p.m. Come out at the Buku Integrated Facility.
Welcome back to the morning show on Tobago Updates Television. I am Adana Kambi, and we continue conversations this morning. In studio, we speak with Mr. Winston Skeet, a goat owner and a member of the Tobago Goat Owners Association, and Assemblyman Sonny Craig, who is the area representative and, of course, a part of the initiative for goat racing for Heritage Festival 2024. Good morning, gentlemen, and welcome.
Thank you for having us here. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
All right. And of course, we just saw that ad there running. Viewers, you saw that ad. We were engaging with that ad this morning running there. And of course, you know, it's exciting times, you know. As the ad mentioned, we're going to have goat racing in July. I know we're used to having it around the Easter period. And, you know, we're having it also for Heritage Festival. And as you mentioned before we came on, said we didn't have it last year. And so we're bringing it back this year. Let's talk a little bit about the importance and the significance of goat racing here on the island of Tobago as it relates to our culture, because we're talking about heritage now, which is part of our culture. So let's talk about the importance and the impact it has on our culture.
Well, you know, goat race has been around for more than 90 years, right? And it's a sport that is loved and cherished. It's a passionate sport to those who really are in the game. And the audience looking on totally enjoy the races. Mr. Skeet here, he's one of the guys who has been in the goat race. Is all your life, Mr. Skeet? You were a jockey and so on also?
55 years.
55 years,
I was in it from when I was 20.
Yes.
20 years.
So is it you're trying to tell us that you're 75? You're trying to convince us that you're 75?
16 days. 75.
All right. And looking good, You know, and of course, you know, as you mentioned, you know, you've been in it for so long. It means that goat racing is rooted in our culture.
Yes.
It definitely is. And what I like about goat racing is the fact that, I mean, where else in the world you're going to see people, you know, training goats for a race?
Yeah.
You know, only if we take it there to them. I like that very much. Only if we take it there to them. And tell us, why is it so important? Because there are some traditions and some parts of our culture that we have been losing. And the heritage season is a time where we can revisit the things that are cultural to us and significant to us here in Tobago that you can't even find in Trinidad. Why is it important to preserve some of those cultures and primarily goat racing?
It's a love for it. When you get into it, like, you doesn't want to get out. But you have to love it. Don't go into it because of financial, because it doesn't have much finance in it. But you go for the love and the bragging rights.
Yes.
When you win a champ of champs, you wouldn't hear they say, who win the A-class race? The first thing is who win the champ of champs? Because they have bragging rights for the year.
Right.
Until the next Easter reach. So that is it.
It's a type of socialization as well,
right,
and you know,
right.
right. You know,
And, sorry, and this particular meat is a meat with a purpose, right? The guys who have been keeping this art form alive, we need to honor them, and we are going to isolate from the very first fellas. Samuel Calendar is the first man we know on record that brought the goat race to Tobago. He was from Barbados originally, and you will see Pioneer Edition as part of the advertisement, where we're going to be honoring the pioneers of goat racing in Tobago. This is another attempt to sustain the art form, another attempt to keep it fresh. And you know, as you said, some of our customs will die if we do not deliberately do things to keep the art form present and relevant in the society. So we're going to be honoring it's seven of our pioneers, seven of our pioneers, and they would be honored on the day. The Chief Secretary would be there to give out just some small plaques of appreciation. I have never raced a goat, but I've stood on the track and watched. It's a brutal, physical endeavor. It's not for the faint of heart. Those jockeys, it's amazing to see them run through that tangle of goats and ropes and come down. When somebody fall, I'm not surprised. But I'm saying that it's something that it's special and unique to Tobago.
That's right. And you know, as you're talking there, I'm picturing horse racing.
Yes.
And they ride the horse. They are on top of the horse. So
Right.
the horse is the one who is running. But in this instance, you have to train both goats and jockey.
Yes.
Right? And as you mentioned, sometimes they get entangled in the rope, and you know, you have to be able to master that sport and that art form, as you so bravely call it. You know, because of course it is a skill.
It's
a skill.
And the length of the rope is only 9 feet.
Yes.
If you race with a rope over 9 feet, the judges will call you in.
Right.
If you'll be disqualified.
Yes.
No spikes. So because the spikes can get entangled with the legs of the animal and hinder them. So you've got to run bare feet or with a sneakers without spike. So there are rules and regulations that you have to follow. So with the goat owners now, we have not only preparing the animal, we have to also teach the jockey. Like a former jockey, I will have to teach the jockeys how to handle the rope, how to make up a rope, how to handle it, coming to the finishing line. The main thing is getting out of the boxes. You get left and it's all over. You can't get back. You're all over.
Interestingly too, you have to cross the line holding the rope.
Yeah.
So you have to match the speed of the goat or come close enough, because sometimes if you look at the finish, you'll realize the jockeys are stretched. Because the goat is running away from you. If you let go that rope and a goat cross the line, you're lost. Even if the goat cross first. So the jockeys that run these goats are arguably the quickest runners in Tobago. You could argue me, but they have to be right up there with their talent, yeah?
You know, we're talking about goat racing for Easter and now for Heritage. And I'm sitting here, and in this conversation, is there any discussion to have this event more frequent, or to have training throughout the year, so that the young ones coming up, I'm sure the goat owners are of a certain age group. So they start at a certain age and they finish at a certain age. But what about the younger age group? What about, because we're trying to preserve our culture here, right? And as you mentioned, being intentional about it, deliberately doing it. Is there any discussion in terms of how do we preserve this from the young age? Getting corporate Tobago on board, getting other agencies on board, sponsors on board, to ensure that this becomes a part of our culture, and not just on an annual basis, but it's part of our lifestyle. Right? Is there any conversation in that area?
Yes, there is. The last meeting we had with the area representative, some ideas came up, and we're trying to put them into perspective. We're thinking about not even for the goats alone, but because we are the goat owners, we are breeding our own goats, we'll buy sometime. But the jockeys, you can't breed goats and doesn't have jockeys. So we are trying to put some incentives in place for jockeys. We have one already in place that kind of died out, and we want to bring it back, which is there is a race for under 17. So if we get them to come and run from under 17, we mold them in
That's right.
to adulthood so that we have them around. But most time the boys under 17 now, they might go away and study. So all our go on. So you take the best out of the lot.
Yeah.
Right.
So we have something in.
Yeah, I think.
And sorry, and you'll appreciate that if Mr. Skeeter 75 is still in the game, but being a jockey 55 years ago, and we still have young fellas on there, something good is happening.
That's right.
Because at the Village Council, or Boko Village Council prize giving ceremony for the last Easter goat race, one of the comments that I made was that posterity is critical. We must be deliberate. There goes that word again, in getting the young men. And you know, I even at one point there were young women trying out for
we
goat.
had female racers.
We had female racers, and one of the female racers I remember, she was a bishop student, an A-level student. So it's not something that has a status, or as a matter of fact, once you have the talent, once you could run well enough, and you could learn as you are taught, I mean, there's no obstacle. I think maybe female races might be something we might think about bringing back, Mr. Ski.
Back, yes.
Yeah.
But why it was phrased out is because we couldn't get enough. We get like 4.
Right.
And it doesn't make sense racing only 4 because up to 10 goats could go in a race.
Right.
Yeah.
So sometimes you train a goat, you're entered for the female race, but it doesn't have a jockey to go. So we kind of phrase it out.
Yeah.
So what we does to find these good runners, like when the Falcon Sports at the stadium, we will go there. Mr. Potts does that very well.
Yeah.
He goes there and you watch to see who is the fastest young boy, and then try to pull him in and have a conversation with him. You know,
And that's the way it has to be done. That's the way it has to be done.
It's a challenge for us to find. Look, there is a young guy by us, and he had potential. He could run. He comes and he swim my goat for me, and I encouraging him. I know he didn't reach up to standard, but I gave him my goat for Easter to run it. I said, whether you're from first or you run last, you will be running it next year. So I try to, that was that kind of, I push it there that next year I want you.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And you know, that's how it has to be. And so we have this event coming up on Thursday.
Yes.
Right. So let's talk a little bit about the
In that time, the half point where we're going to be giving out the awards and so on to the surviving pioneers, and also, well, of course, some have passed on, and we don't want this to become a situation where we have to be giving awards posthumously all the time. So we're going to, the relatives of those surviving pioneers will receive on their behalf, and of course, we're going to try to make every year going forward, a part of the program will be devoted to honoring someone. The Chief Secretary was adamant that we must name every building on the compound after one of the pioneers. Well, we wouldn't do it this time. We're going to begin with maybe one building this time. And as we go forward, we're going to continue until the facility reflects all the great men that have kept this alive. I think what's interesting, what I learned also is that goat race was the answer, the poor man's answer to horse race. You spoke about horse race and jockey, so I thought I should throw that in. Because the average guy used to look at horse racing and couldn't afford a horse, you couldn't afford the saddles and everything that goes with that. But the goat racing was the answer. And here we are. And if you watch the jockeys, they dress in the same satin colors and bright colors and so on. And the labels on the goats, they label the numbers and everything, just like a horse race. But this time is more human effort than anything else.
But this is a wonderful part of our story, and this part of the story I feel as if it has never been told. It's the first time I'm hearing this.
Yes,
so
yes.
this is a beautiful part of the story that should be packaged whenever we're marketing this event. You know, people need to know the history of things. They need to understand where it came from, and so I'd love to hear more stories in terms of how it started. And you know, you did make the reference, and I think that we should tell our story in its entirety.
If I could throw one more thing in quickly, is that Buko is not the only place goat race was. Goat race moved from village to village over the years. Over the 95 years, it moved from, it was in Bonaccord.
Yeah, Bonaccord, Canaan, Mount Pleasant.
Yeah.
It used to be in Mount Pleasant, not on the recreation ground. As a little boy, I attended goat race where they're building the police station now.
Chauvin.
On that piece of, here is where goat race started. In Mount Pleasant, and then moved to the recreation.
Right.
And then it went to, we had goat race.
Somebody tell me Patience Hill.
Patience Hill.
Yes, yes.
Patience Hill, but
So-
I never witnessed it
Yes.
in Patience Hill.
So what happens in Buko now is that Buko is the place where it was more consistent, like say over the last 40, 50 years or so. And with that consistency, the facility was done there, respectfully. Yeah. So when we speak about the history of goat race and the pioneers, though it's the mecca of goat racing, basically it's Buko, it's really a Tobago thing, right? And we must give respect, because the pioneers that would be honored are not necessarily from any one particular village.
That's right.
They're from around the island.
We're going to talk more about the history and packaging that story about goat racing here on the island of Tobago in Buko. But the event taking place on Thursday begins at 3 p.m.
Yes.
Is there a cover price to get in? What is the fee to get in?
Yes, the cover price is adults $40, children $20. Well, who is at the gate will use the discretion with the kids, because like a mom come with 3 or 4 kids, you know, you go easy on her.
Yes.
So we have it kind of, it was late, but with the push of Mr. Craig, and we have a good team in the organization. We have a good community members. And we're pushing it. And it's still ups and downs, because it have things that we have to put in place even today. There's men out there. I am here, but there are others out there from the executive committee.
Could you share the name of the executive with the Tobago public?
The name of the executive I have some often is Mr. Derry.
Yes.
President.
Yeah,
Mr. Cuthbert Alexander. He's flexible.
Yes.
He is moving around. He's a committed member, and he's doing like coordinating, organizing. We have Mr. Pissa. Well, I forget his name. Everybody.
Mr. James.
You know, it's Tobago, of course. We have those cultural names. You have a village name, a home name. Yes, that's right.
Mr. James is there. Then we have this boy, this guy.
Doc.
Yeah,
that is Hosford.
Mr. Hosford.
Yeah.
Well, he was our first president.
Yeah.
From this, this was formed in between 2010, 2012.
Yeah.
So that means we make us around 13, 14 years in existence. And it went kind of back when we had the pandemic, but now we're trying to lift it, and we have people who's coming around giving us ideas. Right now we'll be having, we are hoping to have election and sometime in July, and we need people to come around.
Yes.
And
of course, Mr. Winston Skeet, as a member of the steering committee, we'd have to question the commitment of Mr. Skeet, so here we are.
Absolutely awesome. And so, of course, I want to wish you guys the very best for not just for the event on Thursday, but also in preserving the culture and telling the story and getting the buy-in and the investment to ensure that part of our culture remains strong on the island of Tobago. Ladies and gentlemen, we're speaking with Assemblyman and Area Representative Sonny Craig for the Buko area, and also Mr. Winston Skeet, who is a goat owner and a member of the Tobago Goat Owners Association, as we prepare for the event on Thursday afternoon, part of our heritage, goat racing on the island of Tobago. It begins at 3 p.m. this Thursday at the Buko Integrated Facility. Only $40 for adults and $20 for children. So come on out and have a wonderful time at the event if you're looking for something to do this Thursday afternoon. It's a good place to be and good entertainment to be had, of course, for one and for all. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have to go for a short break before we continue conversations in studio this morning. And as we go for a break, we invite you to help us share the live, share the live, share the live.
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. styles. Meats served in a variety of flavors, garden salads and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
Deltec Distributors Weekend Special Wings Friday. 3 pounds wings, 2.5 kilogram fries. Special 100 TT Soup Saturday. 2 pounds cube beef, 2 pounds cow heel, 2 pounds chicken foot, 2 pounds pigtail or smoked bone. Special $150. Super Sunday. 3 pounds leg tight chicken, 3 pounds sliced pork, 3 pounds lamb slice, 3 pounds cheese, 2 pack of pasta. Special $250. Located Main Road, Argyle, Tobago. We deliver 20 TT. Contact us on deltecdistributors.com 395-5040 or 237-0102. Deltec Distributors Weekend Special. Deltec Distributors Weekend Special Wings Friday. 3 pounds wings, 2.5 kilogram fries. Special 100 TT Soup Saturday. 2 pounds cube beef, 2 pounds cow heel, 2 pounds chicken foot, 2 pounds pigtail or smoked bone. Special $150. Super Sunday. 3 pounds leg and tight chicken, 3 pounds sliced pork, 3 pounds lamb slice, 3 pounds cheese, 2 pack of pasta. Special $250. Located Main Road, Argyle, Tobago. We deliver 20 TT. Contact us on deltecdistributors.com 395-5040 or 237-0102. Deltec Distributors Weekend Special.
I said I can't wait for Tobago in October.
Embark on an adventure to the greatest little island on the planet. Tobago invites you to ritual, revelry, and release.
Whining in the Bago sun, having Bago fun, and Bago drinking rum. We go jump up and carry on.
From October 25th to the 27th, 2024, experience the energetic vibe, the vibrant colors, and the unforgettable spirit of the Tobago Carnival.
Down here in Tobago. In Tobago.
Whether you're tripping down the road or marveling at the beauty and creativity of our artisans, Tobago Carnival is an adventure.
I said I wait and I wait and I wait and I wait for Carnival to come. So I call all my friends, making my plans for the Tobago Carnival fun.
Join us for ritual, revelry, and release. Tobago Carnival 2024, where every moment is memorable.
I said I can't wait for Tobago in October.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show on Tobago Updates Television. We're just about 7 7:54 a.m. So if you're getting to work for 8 a.m., if you're not climbing those stairs, you might be late. But if you're still on the road, remember to drive safely. The operation here this morning is to get to work safely this morning. Be safe on our nation's roads. All right, we continue conversations this morning in studio, and we speak with Auntie Esther. Yes, Esther Ali, known to many by Auntie Esther. And we're talking about the New Wave Maths Championship that is upcoming very, very soon. Good morning, Auntie Esther, and welcome.
Good morning, my dear, and good morning to my Tobago family. It's great to be home.
Of course, and there's always a smile on your face. And of course, when we have conversations in studio, we always talking about, encouraging our young children, and the platform that you have created in terms of these competitions is to help them, of course, to challenge themselves and to, just to try, to try.
As it is, this is our 3rd annual New Wave Maths Championships, and it is still targeted to primary school children, but we have a little surprise in this one, where we are inviting parents who have children who are going into Standard 2. We are accepting them into our competition, and they will be given little maths equations from Standard 1, as well as those who are going off to high school. Thank you for your support over the last 2 years in the maths competition and the spelling competition. It's sad to see my young ones going off to high school, but happy for them.
That's right.
So we are inviting parents, grandparents, and we are happy to see a lot of grandparents are so pleased with the experience that their grandkids had, that they're like, oh, Auntie Esther, you mean my grandchild could take part this time again? I said, yes, sweetheart, they can take part this time again, and by taking part this time again is that they're coming in as a Standard 5 student. But from the time September 1 reach and you touch that high school door, I'm sorry, I've lost you in this competition. But I do wish every one of my students, and even the entire young population that wrote SEA and achieved their dreams to go off to high school. I really appreciated your support then and now.
And I think that the platform that you've created is just an encouragement for them. And I know you say you've lost them because they've gone on to secondary school, but you have helped them to prepare for, because secondary school is different to primary school. It's more challenging there. And of course, what you have created with the Math Championship and the Spelling Bee is to help them to focus, because the demands will be more in secondary school. And so you've created that environment for those. So don't consider them as a loss. Just consider them as prepared.
As lost, it's just that I will miss seeing their faces
in the competition. But they must come back as supporters. They have to come back as supporters just to see what is happening
very much, because we have built such a relationship. Having our national spelling winner come from Tobago, which was Jan Thomas. And this year, in national spelling, we had a Standard 4 child from Tobago, made tops, came to Trinidad and battled there.
That's right.
And her name is Faith Hazel, and we're very happy with Faith and her contribution to our competitions. And many students from Delaford Anglican got a lot of motivation to come on into our now maths competition 3rd year. And she's like, Auntie Esther, this is one I'm going to bow out of, because maths and I are no friend. And I'm like, oh gosh, why are you saying this? It's to build your confidence, as you're saying, and build the challenge in them that they can go on to high school and face anything. And that was the initial dream of this. To listen, learn, and enlighten each other, but also to achieve confidence as a young person. When I go off to high school, nobody is going to take advantage of me.
That's
I can do this.
Because you have the foundation knowledge and the right approach. So when is the Math Championship taking place, and how can persons register or have their children participate?
Sure. It's back at Lowlands Mall. It's on the 8th, 9th, and 10th. As well as what is happening is that the 8th, 9th, and 10th is also going to be showcasing some of Charon's products. This is a co-branding between Palmstar Promotions and Charon's bookstores. Now, folks, I know a lot of you leave Tobago and come to Trinidad to purchase your books. Now, Charon's bookstores is making an offer to you all. Submit your book list through my WhatsApp number. My number is 471-2604. The same number you contact me to register your child. And in this, when we get your book list within 24 hours, you receive your quotation. Once you approve it, we bring it up to Tobago and you pay by bank card for your books. But we have a competition within a competition where one lucky primary school child, preschool and secondary school child can win their entire book list free from Charon's bookstores. And this is a great opportunity for you all. Please just start WhatsApping me your book list and we will put together the quotation within 24 hours for you. You approve it, it is brought to your doorstep.
Absolutely awesome stuff there. We will take all the help that we can get,
yes,
in this season, especially for those who have more than one child in school these days. When you look at the cost of, books sometimes.
This is the really experience we've gotten so far, and I'll continue, darling, is that people are giving me 2 and 3 book lists. Primary and secondary school. Sometimes we have a preschool and a primary school, and it is really nice to see that they are reaching out and we are reaching out in return, and we are looking forward to that draw to see who is going to win. So once you purchase your books, we are going to put it in the draw. Once you are part of New Wave Maths Championships, which is the 3rd annual, there's trophies, medals, certificates, hampers, a lot to be won again.
Right.
So let's have one top winner out of Tobago. And this is not a school championship, but an August vacation championship. We twisted it around because a lot of the kids are on vacation and their boredom setting in. So we're giving them a lot of excitement to come out and enjoy themselves.
So remind us again how the children can register to participate.
Contact me on 471-2604. I'm in Tobago for the day, but the registration will close off on the 30th of this month for the bookless drive and for Palmsters New Wave Maths Championship. So please reach out to me as soon as possible. Children from the ages of 7 can enter the maths competition all the way to 12 plus. Once you have not touched the high school ground and passed Form 1. As you're going into Form 1, we accept you. Thank you.
All right, so this is taking place 8th,
and small, 8th, 9th, and 10th. The prize given will be on the 10th, 8th, and 9th, preliminary, semi, and grand final.
Absolutely awesome. Thank you so much, Auntie Esther, for coming in this morning and giving us that
information. You're very welcome, sweetheart.
And of course, for partnering with Charon's bookstore to ensure that we can help as much as possible with getting those books for school. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where we end the morning show on Tobago Updates Television, but we don't end our programming here. We head on over to GMT, and as we head on over, we ask you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live.
Christmas time we had things like we have when you're selling meats, because my grandfather used to also rare meat. So when he sold all the meat and stuff for Christmas, the knuckle and the pig feet and stuff, those were the things you would have Christmas Eve, cooking in a stew. So those are the ideas that you had those memories, but they are buried. So we are trying to relive those memories and to continue because we really see the need for it.
Tobago Fireside is a new tourism niche product to the island of Tobago, where persons can come and enjoy authentic Tobago or traditional Tobago cuisine. Oftentimes persons travel for experiences, and when you travel for experiences, food experience is one of those things that persons want to partake in. Today is really just to have it out there, launch the experience, and we do plan to have this being one of the biggest experiences done in Tobago. So it's not only about sand and sea and the nylon reef and stuff. You're going to have something else to do while you are in Tobago.
It's an absolutely fantastic experience.
I find it very refreshing, something new for the Tobago space.
It's definitely something to be added to your bucket list.
I am so happy to be here today. I am enjoying the music, the food, the conversation, learning so much from persons around. So when you come to Tobago Fireside, you're not just coming for the food, you're getting a lot of rich Tobago history as well, and rich Tobago culture.
I'm a traditional guy, so especially the chocolate tea, trust me, you're on point. Knowing from my grandmother days and stuff like that, growing up and stuff like that.
It is such a very unique experience, very local, very cultural, very informative and educational.
Excelente, fabulous. I enjoyed it. It's something new, and I hope she makes this an annual thing.
If you're from Tobago or if you happen to be visiting our shores, definitely check out the Fireside.
Last year, October 2023, the island tilted. The peaceful bliss of sea, sun, and sand was transcended as we took to the streets to revel in paradise.
Tobago! It's such a nice place!
Tobago Carnival, we're right here. We're not leave it till we go right down.
It's the greatest, it's the best, it's safe, and it's beautiful.
I love Tobago, baby. Coming back next year. Hey!
Playing pan on the streets is a magical experience. When the band strike up, it's rhythm, steel, and powder. This is Tobago Carnival, pan in paradise.
Tobago is the best.
Tobago Carnival is the new home for the legend of Calypso. Where else can you get sweet Calypso music that gives you that nostalgic feeling?
Soca Titans is we title, is we monarch. We built artists from scratch who can perform with the best. Real Titans of Soca.
When last you've been to a party, plenty women looking so nice. We must be in paradise.
This year, ritual takes on new space and dimension. Traditions will be reimagined, breaking free and taking on new meaning on the road.
I love the energy!
This year, the revelry is bigger and better. More colors, more meaning, great packages for the masqueraders. Tobago Carnival is freedom.
This year promoting safety in all events for Tobago Carnival. This year promoting whining, not minding people business. This year promoting clean fun, security and freedom.
Freedom to be any version of yourself that you choose to be with love and safety. Here, you have permission to be you, uninhibited and free.
So what you waiting on? This year, this October 2024, experience the ritual, revel in paradise, release yourself. From the greatest little island on the planet, this is the Tobago Carnival 2024.
Let's go, go.
good morning, and welcome to Good Morning Tobago. I am Chanel Felix, and this morning, whenever you see me sitting here, it's because we're about to have those conversations that you want to have while I ask those questions that you want to ask. But before we get into these conversations on this overcast morning here in Tobago, let's have our news in 90 seconds.
The news is brought to you by Standards. At Standard, nobody beats us on price. Believe it.
Reports indicate a shooting occurred in Black Rock last night, leaving one man injured and taken to the Scarborough General Hospital. Although details are still unclear, police are continuing their investigation. More information will be provided as it becomes available. Additionally, during yesterday's launch of the Scout TT camp in Roxborough, Chief Secretary Farley Augustine emphasized the centrality of intelligence in Tobago's crime-fighting strategy and called for increased intelligence gathering initiatives to prevent criminal activities. Augustine acknowledged that these strategies, including frequent traffic stops, might inconvenience law-abiding citizens, but are essential for regaining control. He stressed the importance of timely intelligence gathering to prevent crime. In response to recent shootings, Augustine assured that the TTPS is being equipped with the sufficient patrol vehicles. He called for a radical, unprecedented response to the crime situation. And finally, Deputy Commissioner of Police Junior Benjamin announced positive results after the TTPS escalated to high alert with increased patrols and spot checks. Benjamin said intelligence-driven and evidence-based solutions have been shaping successful strategies. He noted during the period July 14 to July 21, 569 exercises were conducted, leading to 263 arrests, the seizure of 15 firearms and 604 rounds of ammunition. Narcotics were also confiscated, and Benjamin defended the aggressive policing tactics, explaining they target criminals and not the public. And that was our news in 90 seconds.
Get your quality furniture and appliances at Standards. Frigidaire gas range $599. Serta base and mattress $1,899. RC 50-inch smart 4K TV as low as $2,599. Yes, at Standard, nobody beats us on price. Believe it.
Good morning, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago. I did promise that this morning we're going to be having a very interesting conversation. And this morning, to have that interesting conversation on taking control of crime on the island of Tobago, I have the privilege of chatting virtually this morning with Assistant Superintendent Collis Hazel. Good morning, sir, and welcome.
Hi, good morning to you, Ms. Felix, and good morning to you, to your viewers on this platform. It's a pleasure in speaking with you.
Right. Well, thank you so much for joining us on Tobago Updates this morning. Now, we know that the TTPS has been frantically holding meetings, holding consultations, and putting together strategies to combat the escalating crime situation in Tobago. We see that you continue to be at the forefront of these discussions. Now, before we really get into this morning's discussion, we know that there were a number of suggestions that came out of that national crime fighting meeting that included both the Chief Secretary and the Prime Minister. This included the increase in patrols as well as the increase in sending officers from Trinidad to Tobago. Can you alert the public or kind of educate or inform them on some of the strategies that you guys have implemented and are implementing to help with that crime fighting situation?
Thank you very much. And let me say that, of course, if you continue to do the same thing over and over and expect this, you would expect the same result. And therefore, change is what is required in terms of our approaches as the world continue to change. I continue to say that we are living in a dynamic world where things are changing. We change in strategies, we change in technology, we change in ideas, and therefore leadership is what is required in terms of ensuring that we deal with such of those changes. And clearly, we from the TTPS point of view have been exploring what we did, evaluating our strategies and seeing what worked and what has not worked to the benefit and redung of our strategic alignment. And therefore, we are poised in terms of looking at some of those areas. As you rightly mentioned, we look to the whole idea of our dealing with the human resource. Quite rightly, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service is one organization and continues to be one organization that serves us. And you've had a situation over time where most of the the members of the members from that serve this organization are really Tobago based. That is not to say that they have not been serving the organization to the maximum, well, and I must say. However, we need to find another approach in terms of this small island nations. We have had challenges in terms of the closeness, the close-knittedness of the people, the information. We are challenged at times even for information that will help us in solving crime and criminal activities on the island. And therefore, we think time has come for us to make those switch around, change around in terms of, we have had it in terms of first division officers from time to time. And therefore, we need to go now look at the lower ranks in terms of ensuring that we pool the human resources. What I must say to you, Ms. Felix, is that even in terms of our leadership strategies, how we model the way, how we inspire the shared vision, how we challenge the process, and how we enable others to act, encouraging from the heart as some of our leadership, the dynamics of leadership. One looks to the question that at times we need to be able to ensure that all the resources are available to the 10 divisions of policing, and therefore giving that opportunity for officers from Tobago at times to make a switch with those from Trinidad, and we have a different approach in terms of our policing, may quite rightly fit as a strategy that can be approached and tried with some level of success.
I had a conversation last week with Mr. William Nurse, and he would have indicated that during his time and even now he noticed that one of the big issues faced in Tobago was not only a resource challenge, but it had to do a lot with training, especially seeing that a lot of special reserve officers were at a number of the precincts and they were not on the same level of training as the regular police officers. Is that still an issue that is faced by officers in Tobago? And what is being done as a part of this crime fighting strategy to increase the quality of training given to officers?
What I must say is in terms of the training, that the police academy continues to be our human resource, where training emanates from. And of course, we do have officers being trained locally and regionally and internationally. I myself just returned from El Salvador, participating in a leadership training for law enforcement officers around the globe. And therefore, training is part of our mandate. We do have training from time to time. Even within ourselves here in the division, we offer training. We provided, I recall, one of the most recent trainings when our officers were promoted. We did not wait on Trinidad. We took the opportunity and used the resources that are available to us and the skill set, and we were able to train our 54 corporals from Tobago on the island to get them ready. So training is afforded. Quite rightly, how things are unfolding within the service rapidly, it has had some setbacks in terms of everybody can't go at the same point in time. So it's on a rotational basis that we'll have different times. And based on our limited numbers at times, divisional commander at time from, because at the end of the day, you have limited staff and manpower to work with when you send off all these officers to training. However, I must admit that training has been taking place. I cannot speak to the issues of your former interview. However, we are at this point in time embracing training at all levels. Perhaps you are muted. I'm not hearing you.
Hear me now.
Yes.
Right? Well, there is the consensus among many that when you have officers coming from Trinidad and officers going to Tobago, the dynamic is one where some of the best officers in Tobago are sent down to Trinidad, while some of the officers in Trinidad that may not be performing at their best are sent to Tobago because oftentimes they want to keep some of their best workers there. How do you feel about that?
Ms. Felix, one of the things that we don't want to do in the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service is to politicize the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. We continue to be one organization, and I make that statement all the time. We are not the Tobago House of Assembly, where you have divisions in terms of electoral districts and what have you. And I think Tobago needs to understand that the TTPS is one TTPS that serve this Twin Island Republic. This thing about when I passed out of the barracks and Mr. William Nurse, who you spoke with, passed out of the barracks, we weren't sent to Tobago, We worked at different places in Trinidad, and the same can still exist. That wherever you are posted, you are called to serve, to protect and serve this country, and you have to go there. It is about utilizing your resources. It is about ensuring that the best resources is placed where it is required. Quite recently, in my training in El Salvador, we were exposed to a new style of dealing with human behaviors and how you are able to treat with your human resources, which utilize the DISC behavior style, where we look at, we have gone past the idea of operating with passion. And this is a universal language of observing the human behavior in terms of where you will place people that is best poised to serve this island, this country. So to put it like we are going to give the best, let me put it in the best of way. Mr. Nurse was a very good officer in terms of intelligence, in terms of working with crime fighting and stuff like that. But Mr. Nurse went to Trinidad. He got an acting and he has to go to pick it up somewhere else. Will he not pick it up? The point I am saying to you, that at the end of the day, we can't want to have this argument that Trinidad taking this and Tobago taking this. Is foolishness. The idea is where you are called to serve this country, you have to serve. So you can have vice versa in terms of very good officers from Trinidad come to Tobago and we have a mixture. We are one TTPS. We are not separated that says that you are from Tobago, so you should sit down here in Tobago and serve Tobago all the time. That is one of the powers of the Commissioner of Police, where she can or he can place people with the resources available at their disposal to serve this country. And we must respect that.
Units that we're seeing coming on stream here in Tobago. What are some of the new units that are coming on stream here in Tobago?
Okay, so during my leadership, I advocated and quite rightly gotten some of the units, such as the IATF, Interagency Task Force, and the Guard and Emergency Branch, to bring them here to Tobago. They are here presently now, operating, and as we build out some accommodation for permanency, working there with in terms of supporting that issue. We have also brought on board the fraud squad now, so that persons don't have to think about journeying to Trinidad or being afraid to make the reports at station. So we have the fraud squad operating at the Chevron Road Police Station. And we have all the other units, the police complaints unit for persons who can make complaints from time to time. All these units are now available right here in Tobago. And from time to time, we have been bringing on board, of course, the Riverine unit, working closely with our marine life operation here and all those environmental police in order to treat with issues that are environmentally sensitive on this island.
Yes, so when we come back from the break, we're going to chat a bit about the idea of that Tobago Police Service. So we'll have a quick break and we'll be back right after this. See you soon.
I'ma play some tune like this. Don't worry, my wife will fuck it up. Make me happy whenever you fuck it. So me you're very hard, fiesta, fun.
This one is for the people and them who don't care what nobody else have to say about them.
Them none of cash, broke where you have, where you know about.
It's too early for that.
Too early, good on. They do but then enough 99. Girl, go the club, can't ride. Nice.
Who's the one friend can drink all the alcohol no matter what?
Put a bottle and spoon and a cup in my hand and I'm winding up on my man.
Dream.
Go in. You have to stop it. You have to stop it.
Welcome to my kitchen, guys.
You have to stop it, everyone.
That's the intro. Let's do it one more time, right?
Pam Star Promotions and Charns Bookstores are happy to bring the 2024 New Wave Maths Championships to Lowlands Mall, 8th to 10th August. Participants must be between ages 9 to 12 years. Lots of prizes to be won. To register, call 471-2604. For the best prices on school books, WhatsApp 471-2604 or 371-4824. 3 lucky students will win their book list for free.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago. Now, if you are just joining us, then we have been chatting with Assistant Superintendent, Mr. Corvus Hazel. Good morning and welcome back. Now, right before the break, we indicated that we'll be chatting a bit about that Tobago Police Service and the proposal for such. Give us your perspective on how that can work along with the TTPS to assist with that safety and security control here on the island of Tobago.
Well, like anything else, I would want to say that I welcome that initiative in terms of ensuring that we can have another arm of national security apparatus working with other areas, because crime is multiple. The achievement of solving crime multiple-pronged has worked over time, and therefore any other successful element as a project, a program, an initiative in order to bring that those issues under resolve will certainly be welcomed by me and, of course, the members of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. We have gone on record in speaking about the whole question that this approach in terms of establishing whether we call it Tobago or whatnot on the other, sometimes we don't like to be called a municipality or whatnot on the other. Name doesn't really matter in terms of my course, is the level of responsibility and how we carved it out in order to ensure that we bring success. The idea is the Commissioner of Police is mandated to deal with all supplemental arms of policing on the in Trinidad and Tobago, and therefore this Tobago Police, the municipal police, whatever you want to call it, it will fall under the purview of the Commissioner of Police, while we're having that overarching responsibility for national security. This initiative can very well see itself in providing some of the functions that are now being policed by the national police to be having this institution paying a greater attention to these level of what we will call minor crime and minor offenses that can take place from time to time. Of course, one has to realize that you start small and then you grow large, and you start with minor offenses and then you grow into minor crime, and therefore you escalate into what is called serious crime. So therefore, stamping out this crime from very early and having officers treat with that and educate, sensitize, and act as a catalyst for change in ensuring that things doesn't get worsen and develop into criminal element. It is my humble view that this unit should be focused at the heart, focusing on 1, community policing, 2, dealing with offenses in terms of you have those what we call the bordering, dealing with the issue of paying closer attention to the security, the island security, things like the Tobago House of Assemblies, properties and so forth, and to deal with litter wardens, those issues, to deal with the market and vending, and of course to deal with parking, so that you have traffic co-ops and all of that embedded in that whole system, to deal with the marine life. This is another area. We have had a very ugly situation that is taking place in the Pigeon in the Pigeon Point and Nyland Pool area with respect to our boat and seafarer operators there, and all of these are things that we can have the unit pay closer attention to. Of course, coastal patrols, of this paying attention to our porous borders. So some of these are areas in which, of course, the unit can pay greater attention to, while the TTPS is given the opportunity to do more in-depth investigation and analysis to serious crime and other criminal activities that will take place in an island state.
A lot of sense. In regards to the public having that trust and confidence in the police, what type of strategies are you implementing to really help the public to restore any confidence that they may have lost?
Okay, so we have started only last 2 weeks. We have rolled out a program where the executive of the TTPS is reaching out to the various, all the units at all levels of our sworn and unsworn officers in order to restore trust and confidence among our staff. It was only last week the Deputy Commissioner joined us on the island here, and I, of course, had that session as well in my other division, in Eastern Division, where we were able to meet with the officers one-on-one, share our whole interaction with them, listen to their concerns, and again, educate, treat, and guide them into where we would like to see the TTPS going, starting with a bottom-up approach, reaching them at the point they are at. So no longer are we prepared to sit in our luxurious offices and stay there, but we are reaching out. We are going out to our charges and talking with them and educating and guiding on them so that will bring a catalyst for change. We have seen that has been, from the feedback that we are getting, persons felt comfortable, persons felt motivated in order to go out there and to address some of the concerns that perhaps were not being addressed. So that is another area. We have gone ahead as well in terms of looking at ensuring that quite recently the Commissioner launched our media communication in getting feedback from our public, and we've looked at our suggestion boxes, we have looked at our scan barcodes and our IT mechanisms that are out there in order for us to receive feedback. We have been using our approach all the time. We're on top of that, keeping town meetings two town meetings every month throughout the island where persons are able to come and engage us. My offices is also open and available. One of the strategies that I am using as well is to have an opportunity where I will have a day designated to meet the members of the public, where I can hear their concerns and, we don't have to set any appointment, that you can just come in and meet the ACP and let's talk, because sometimes some of the service are not being had by some of our staff members, and therefore we are here to serve the public. And this is what exactly we want to do. So we want to be able to get feedback. Outside of that, we do have our covert operations where you can still call 800 tips, you can still call 555, you can still call Crime Stoppers. And all these are agencies and programs that we have placed that you can utilize in order to build that trust and confidence. Not forgetting, you are not debarred from reaching any of the officers at any level, whether first or second division officers in charge of station, branches, units, and section. I am one of the first person who made myself available, provided my telephone contact to the public of Tobago as an assuming office, that you can reach me at any time to treat with any situation, because we do not have a closed door policy. So it is all about building trust. But Ms. Felix, as we rightly said, this issue of trust and mistrust has been postulated by many theorists in terms of motivation, in terms of building the self-esteem and the self-efficacy of persons. And therefore, I am asking and laying an olive branch out there to the members of the public this morning that quite rightly, you may have had an encounter with the police that may have not been to some extent one of warm and welcoming reproach. I am asking you, don't take that one issue and live it all your life, that you would not want to encounter another police. I am saying to you, the Bible has taught all of us that we can forgive 70 times 7 and expect forgiveness. Why not try it with the TTPS this morning? Why not utilize the opportunity whereby we can say, well, okay, one person would have done me something wrong. Why am I taking on that baggage and that burden and carrying it throughout my lifestyle? You can be the one who outside there is witnessing a crime or some level of criminality, and you are not only doing yourself harm, but you are doing an island, you are doing a country, you are doing a nation in terms of helping by providing the information that can help in order to solve the situation. Let it understand that you would have done your part in making your pathway, and leave the others to whoever is responsibility. Just as we have been doing. We have been arresting people, we have been placing people before the court, and at the end of the day, We leave it up to the magistrate and judges in order to make the decision. At times we don't get the decisions that we look forward to, and that of itself bring back a demoralizing situation on some of the police officers. But we don't throw our hands in the air. We continue to challenge ourselves by the demand for high policing, ensuring that basically we are constrained by some of the limited resources. But in this Tobago division, we continue to exert and strive for the best to ensure that safety and security of all persons residing or visiting this island remain safe. My officers of this Tobago division are committed to executing our mandate and to achieve the strategic objective that has been set forward for us. I want to give you the assurances today, Ms. Felix, and all the other persons that are listening to me, that as the executive commander, I give you the assurances that every effort will be made to develop the self-esteem and self-efficacy of our sworn and unsworn officers to ensure that they work relentlessly and with passion to deliver on the targets that have been set by our commission. And while we acknowledge as a police officer we are not perfect, we still are prepared to ensure that we get the work done to reverse this current trend in crime and criminality that is happening. I can tell you we continue to motivate the officers in building that trust and confidence to ensure that they stand resolute and in our determination to forge ahead with diligence and with purpose, confident that we possess the capacity and capability to succeed in all our endeavors. So I would want the public to work with us, to let loose of some of those past baggages. I entreat and urge some of the very officers past and who have left the service as well. You can do us good justice if you continue not to condemn unlawfully and unwillingly and support the TTTPS with an understanding that time has changed, people have changed, technology has changed, but leadership endures. We are facing a situation now where it is not like long ago. We have an educated population that are outside there seeking to take crime as a part and a way of life. It is now our intent in ensuring that we reduce the profit out of crime on these people. And hence, I have been targeting my officers week by week in all terms of our strategies to ensure that what we have is precision-led policing as well as policing of intelligence-driven policing in order to take the fight against our perpetrators. We want the support of all to be on board with this with us. I am saying to you, as we talk about leadership, perhaps what is needed on this island is what I just witnessed in El Salvador.
Right.
Where
And
you have 60,000 people who were committing crime and is now on an island, and El Salvador is a safe community.
right. And so, Mr. Hazel, what we want to do is take a break right here, and we'll come back and we continue our conversation. See you soon.
Thank you.
Brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. See me, oh my God, I'm low. Sister, speak. See me, oh my God, I'm low.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
Oh yeah! I said I can't wait for Tobago in October.
Embark on an adventure to the greatest little island on the planet. Tobago invites you to ritual, revelry, and release.
Whining in the Bago sun, having Bago fun, and Bago drinking rum. We go jump up and carry on.
From October 25th to the 27th, 2024, experience the energetic vibe, the vibrant colors, and the unforgettable spirit of the Tobago Carnival.
Down here in Tobago. In Tobago.
Whether you're chipping down the road or marveling at the beauty and creativity of our artisans, Tobago Carnival is an adventure.
I said I wait and I wait and I wait and I wait for Carnival to come. So I call all my friends, making the plans for the Tobago Carnival fun.
Join us for ritual, revelry, and release. Tobago Carnival 2024, where every moment is memorable.
I said I can't wait for Tobago in October.
Good morning, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. If you're just joining us, then you really have missed an interesting discussion on how the TTPS has been taking control of crime here in Tobago. Now, as we've been having this conversation, I've been chatting with Assistant Superintendent Collis Hazel, and he has given us detailed information on how they have been implementing new strategies to combat crime. And one of those strategies has to do with the training of officers and really helping to develop the human resource of the TTPS. Now, one of the themes that we see continuing to be presented is that evidence-based and intelligence-based policing. Now, when it comes to gathering intelligence, there are many different ways to do that. There are technologies that we are currently using and that exist. But one of the very classical ways of gathering intelligence has to do with, members of the public coming forward and giving that information to the police. Now, when we talk about building confidence, confidentiality, does the training include how to deal with that? Because the reason why a lot of persons shy away from offering information to the police is because of that lack of trust. So what is being done to increase the trust that the public has to present this type of sensitive information that from time to time may put their own lives in danger?
Okay, so I spoke to the issue of us using other technological measures where you can even call Crime Stoppers. Yeah? Crime Stoppers is an international agency that has worked for people where you provide information and of course you are rewarded based on your information, so that you actually don't even speak to a police officer. In this instance, you are able to speak to someone who is able to relay the information onto the police. And of course, with the successful interrogation, at the end of this investigation, if it is a successful initiative, you are being able to go to a particular bank with a chit and to get money for your information from Crime Stoppers. You have had situation where you can call 555 or 800 tips. These are all strategies that prevent you from that fear of crime, of providing information, feeling somebody would know and come after you. So, Miss Felix, as I see, there's no excuse there. Of course, you have the great issue where the fear of in these small island republics, island where we operate, where everybody know each other, that seems to be the challenging situation in terms of crime fighting, and rightfully so. That one has to be very careful, because you have had situation where persons may have given lead information, and one of the smart ways, let me tell you what, is that sometimes where a bandit use that to his advantage is that he ain't really get no information from no police, but at the end of the day, he would tell you that I know your source, and he pretends to be a Wobia man. I know your source, and he giving you all this sign information, like if he know this, and he calls out people name who are highly involved in crime fighting. All those are strategies that they have been using in order to weaken the apparatus of the police investigation, of getting information and making you preventing you from sharing your information. And when we as a country rise up against that in our brave attitude and said, regardless of whatever, I am taking this stand, that I can't sit down there and see my community that I once know was so quiet has evolved into this situation because you want to be an empire with your riches in terms of doing what you want, shooting and killing people in order to gain your survival. And you just sit back and you keep quiet, and everybody's sitting there cocoon and saying that, okay, well, I can't trust the police anymore. That is not going to bring us any resolve. We are going to enslave ourselves into our very own community and allow the bandits to triumph over us. And therefore, this is a call for us to rise up and take back our island in terms of providing that level of information. This is an opportunity for us to ensure that, okay, our homes have a proper ICT camera system that can help us. Miss Felix, some of the murders in which we are having, when we go on the crime scenes, we are finding turning up where there are cameras there, but when you check them, they put them there and nobody ever gone back there to check them, and they're non-functional. So we have to have a bite into the idea of differential, of putting that opportunity on that dent in crime to pay a closer attention to what we do in terms of our life to ensure that we are safe as well. We have had situations where we knowingly that our brother, our sister, our aunt, our uncle, they are involved heavily. But we don't want to say nothing. We want to keep quiet, and they are getting this society in this fear. But the time has come for us to rise up against those situations, and hence the reason why we are taking this approach in order to target some of these perpetrators night and day, in order to try to ensure that we rid the country of some of what is taking place here. One thing that we may not have known in terms of during the last month, we were able to see 6 firearms off the street of Tobago and all these ammunitions. What we have done is a retaliation of what is taking place on the island now with all these shootings, because the bandits realize that, okay, you have gone with our artilleries, we can't do this anymore, so therefore let's pounce back on them. This is what we are coming up against, and therefore if people are knowing that you are seeing, you have information in terms of where those persons are hiding the gun or where they have any gun, call the police, call me.
Right.
And you call the senior superintendent.
And unfortunately, we don't have enough time to really get into it because there's so much that we can discuss. But as we wrap up this morning's discussion, there is the consensus or the idea that a lot of the gang-related activities in Trinidad is beginning to filter over into Tobago, where we have, individuals on the island identifying themselves with known gangs in Trinidad. Is this a real threat, and how are we working towards combating this, and also, putting preventative measures in place for the young men, not to get caught up in this gang-related violence that's happening?
I would want to say that this is a multi-pronged approach. Any threat to national security or persons outside here in the island is a threat, where people can be safe and secure. And in this case, where at the end of the day, this is a people issue. Miss Felix, this is a people issue. I can't come into the homes of parents and tell them, here what? You need to be able to tell your boy child or your girl child at the end of the day who to associate with. You know what is good and bad. And you see, you are encouraging a stranger coming in from Trinidad who you don't know his name, you don't know nothing about him, and he is in your dwelling. And you're just allowing that to take place, and you are seeing the life of your boy child or your girl child eroding into a lawless person. And there is nothing in which you are doing or attempting to do in order to save him from a life of crime. What we have been doing outside there, we have encouraged people to join our police youth clubs. We have gone out outside there and encouraged people to get involved in other programs. You would have the Tobago House of Assembly set up some programs. I know that the youth department is setting up another program now in terms of working in collaboration to combat some of these situations. But are they getting involved? Even employing people, giving them early morning work. But at the end of the day, they're getting that salary, but they're still going out outside there. The statistics have shown that some of the people who committing crime is some of the people who get early morning work. And therefore, these are some of the challenges that we are facing. We are engaging the Trinidadians coming up here and educating, and some of them are people who the Tobagonian would have been interfacing with in the prisons. And they are coming out outside there and doing work for them because they know the territory. So you don't want to just blame Trinidadians, and I'm not going down that level at all. You have a situation where Tobago homegrown criminals are outside there on the rampage. And it calls to the idea too, I must mention that I wouldn't go past that some of our social sector programs need to beef up on this island. I drive around Tobago and I'm seeing some of the spaces. I was appalled even in my own community here over the weekend to see that a popular group has to rent lights in order to make a cricket competition come alive. And when we reach to that, I'm saying the authorities need to help us in all sectors as well. So if it reaches the stage where we are trying to provide extracurricular activities to engage people from a life of crime, and we have to go out there and rent lights because our pavilions outside, they have no lights. We are talking to an issue where we need help all around. Crime is a social issue as well. And therefore, any opportunity where people can pounce on others, and we don't create not only for persons involved in crime, but some of our young people need to expressively have an opportunity to find other alternatives to crime where they can utilize their leisure time in a constructive area. That is all. That too will help us. So there is a clarion call for us to have. I said it already on this program, and I'm going to say it again. We have over 40 officers that are sports officers in the Division of Sports of the Tobago House of Assembly. I want us to evaluate and see how many of those persons are aligned to a police youth club, a sports club, or something that are working with people. When you look at the hours that they are working, they are 8 to 4. How on earth anybody could be working 8 to 4 as a sports officer when sports is really in this island an extracurricular activity, after school activity? So we can't operate with a public service situation where because you are a contracted worker, everybody working 8 to 4. We now need to change that and give them an opportunity that those persons who are doing those sports and are able to work with the NGOs, CBOs, and faith-based organizations who operate outside of the hours of 8 to 4, you give them an extra branch. You give them another opportunity that this is your work hours that you need to work with. So you can't employ them and they go out outside there and they have no clientele.
All right.
These are some of the issues that will help us on the island and help policing.
All right. Well, thank you so much for giving us that broad view. And before I said Assistant Superintendent, but we know you are Assistant Commissioner of Police, right? You could have corrected me there. I would have taken that.
Some of the we don't take them back with titles and whatnot. Titles are granted, but it is your behavior that will earn you the title.
Right. Well, we thank you so much for representing the TTPS this morning and even giving us a little look into some of the training that came out from that trip to El Salvador recently. And we hope that that will inform the type of policy that is needed to help reduce crime here in Tobago. And I look forward to chatting with you again very soon if you want to come in and give us an update on some of that training that's happening or just some of the activities that's happening within the TTPS. Just let us know and we'll have that conversation. Right?
Quite soon, Miss Felix, I want to say that I am one of the ACP that always make myself available, and I will continue to make myself available as part of our training in El Salvador as well. May I say to you was how to deal with the media. And you know that Collis Hazel ain't afraid no media house. I can handle my stories well. So, this is the first person who got a medal from the Homeland Security in terms of, on that course, in terms of reaching out. So I'm hearing a narrative about me not being, making myself accessible. Let's,
we know that
those issues later.
Well, we know that is not true, right? So we're going to take a quick break and we'll be back with much more conversation right after this. See you soon.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes for breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti served with chokers, bull joil and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
Good morning, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago. If you are just joining me, it's so unfortunate that you missed that interesting conversation with the Assistant Commissioner of Police, Mr. Collis Hazel. We chatted extensively on how the TTPS here in Tobago has been employing strategies to take control of crime on the island. But as we wrap up this morning's discussions, we're talking about another type of intervention for crime. And you might be wondering, what type of intervention might that be? And that has to be the intervention of the Holy Spirit. Now, this morning I'm chatting with Mr. Shaquille Williams, who is the chairman of the Mariah Runnymede Sustainable Development Group. And very soon they would be hosting a prayer over the island of Tobago, something that, many persons have been employing, to help combat that gun violence on the island of Tobago. Good morning, Mr. Williams. And tell us a little bit about that Mariah Runnymede Sustainable Development Group. What exactly are you guys doing in that area?
First thing first, good morning Tobago, good morning Trinidad and Tobago, good morning to the listening audience out there, and good morning to my lovely executive of this one esteemed group. The Mariah Runnymede Sustainable Development Group is a group that is formed over a year ago And we are currently, doing things within the community. Just 3 months ago, we have launched our recycling initiative in the 3 schools within the area, which is going to be the Divinsville Government School, the Moria Government School, the Moria Early Childhood Center. So we have started, teaching the youths within the community to save our environment.
Right. And you, along with everyone else, have noticed the recent surge in crime on the island, and your means of combating that within your own space is to host a prayer. Tell us about that initiative.
Well, this initiative was an initiative that came about by myself and my executive, because we get to realize that this island needs prayer, because the level of gun violence on the island, it's getting out of hand. And the only person that can, that can bring that curb is the Holy Spirit. So that's why, we came up with the idea in hosting this evening of prayer, worship, and interceding for the island of Tobago.
All right, and when is this going to be happening?
Sunday coming, 3 p.m., Moria Community Center.
Well, you heard it here, this Sunday at 3 p.m. at the Moria Community Center. If you are a part of that district, or you just happen to be in the area, or you are interested in joining them in their prayer and intercession over Tobago, this is a great opportunity for you to join in. And are you partnering with any other organizations to see this become a success?
Yes, I am. I'm partnershiping with the churches within the community, which we have 3 churches in the community: the Moria SDA Church, the Moria Miracle Center, and the Moria Moravian Church. So, we have liaised with these 3 churches to make this initiative a great one and to make it successful.
All right. Well, thank you so much for that. And, even as a young man, it's commendable to see the importance placed on including the Holy Spirit and just pray into what you deem to be a means of combating gun violence and the surging crime on the island. So I want to commend you and your executive for the initiative. You heard it here, guys, at the Moria Community Center this Sunday at 3 p.m. Join them as those churches within that community come together to pray and intercede on behalf of Tobago. Now, unfortunately, this is where we end off the discussion this morning. But I'm going to see you soon again tomorrow. But I just want you guys to have a great day. And I want to thank you for liking, sharing, and commenting and doing all that you have been doing to make Tobago Updates the #1 broadcaster here on the island of Tobago. See you soon.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and hear me neighbor. 60,000 people strong, and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power, we are people in the sun. We are beaches, we are rivers, we are melanated ones. We special and
Last year, October 2023, the island tilted. The peaceful bliss of sea, sun, and sand was transcended as we took to the streets to revel in paradise.
we love Tobago Carnival!
Tobago! It's such a nice place!
Tobago Carnival, right here. We're not leaving till we go right down.
It's the greatest, it's the best, it's safe, and it's beautiful!
I love Tobago, baby. Coming back next year. Hey!
Playing pan on the streets is a magical experience. When the band strike up, is rhythm, steel, and powder. This is Tobago Carnival, pan in paradise.
Tobago is the best.
Tobago Carnival is the new home for the legend of Calypso. Where else can you get sweet Calypso music that gives you that nostalgic feeling?
Soca Titans is we title, is we monarch. We built artists from scratch who can perform with the best. Real titans of soca.
When last you've been to a party, Plenty women looking so nice. We must be in paradise.
This year, ritual takes on new space and dimension. Traditions will be reimagined, breaking free and taking on new meaning on the road.
I love the energy.
This year, the revelry is bigger and better. More colors, more meaning, great packages for the masqueraders. Tobago Carnival is freedom.
This year promoting safety in all events for Tobago Carnival. This year promoting whining, not minding people business. This year promoting clean fun, security and freedom.
Freedom to be any version of yourself that you choose to be with love and safety. Here, you have permission to be you, uninhibited and free.
So what you waiting on? This year, this October 2024, experience the ritual, revel in paradise, release yourself. From the greatest little island on the planet, this is the Tobago Carnival 2024.
Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed partners and sponsors, and most importantly, our beloved communities, welcome to the Tobago Heritage Festival 2024. As we embark on the 37th year of this festival, our theme is We Come Back. Back to our communities, back to our villages, back to our true indigenous heritage presentations and productions. We are bringing back iconic events such as Yesterday's Children, Bell Manor Riots, and Courtship Codes. We want to highlight the importance of coming back to our roots, celebrating the people and the communities that make Tobago so special. Get ready for an unforgettable experience as we say, we come back to our true essence. We want to encourage each and every one of you to continue to support our cultural development and preservation in any way that you can. Your support is truly invaluable. Together, we can continue to make a positive impact that will be felt for generations to come. Thank you, and see you in July.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is with immense pride and excitement that I address you to officially launch the 2024 Tobago Heritage Festival. The Tobago Heritage Festival is not just an event, it is a journey back to our roots. This year's theme, We Come Back, back to our communities, back to our villages, back to our true indigenous heritage presentations and productions. It captures the true essence of revitalizing the culture and traditions that have shaped our identity for generations. This year marks the 37th successful hosting of the festival, and we are proud to officially dub the month of July as Tobago Heritage Month, a time when our island comes alive with rhythms, flavors, and stories of our ancestors. The festival continues to offer an unparalleled opportunity for economic growth on the island. Every stakeholder, from local artisan and vendor to hospitality businesses and transportation services, stand to benefit. Our vibrant cultural displays will attract visitors, boost tourism, and provide a significant economic uplift to the island. The heart of this festival beats in our communities. We are empowering each village to manage its own productions to ensure authenticity and sustainability. The Tobago Festival Commissions Limited and the Tobago House of Assembly are here to support you. fostering an environment where our heritage can flourish sustainably. As we embark on this journey, let us celebrate the essence of Tobago. Let us honor our heritage and support our communities as we showcase the vibrant culture that makes our island unique. Thank you.
You're viewing Tobago Updates Television, your exclusive gateway to Tobago, broadcasting the beauty of this island paradise to the world.